could be in tears, or I could, like, if I was sad, then he would cut off. He would totally disconnect from me, and stare at the TV. I could be overwhelmingly sad and explaining something to him, and he wouldn't even look at me. He would look at the TV. Or on the opposite end of that, if I was extremely excited and elated, like when my grandson was born, he would become very angry. He could never be on the same plane emotionally. Like, if it wasn't about him, like if it wasn't something that was centered around him, then it was a miserable time for everyone. We didn't have children together. I had children from a previous relationship, and if we were all happy and getting along, and he absolutely could not participate in that. If my teenage daughter and I, we would have our little tips, and if we weren't getting along, then he would overly, like, want more to do with her, and he would encourage her disrespect. So honestly, I just felt like I was living on a battlefield all the time, and it's harsh. That's a hard place, because when you come home from the outside world, and when nobody's really on your side, you don't feel that way. When you come home, that should be your soft place to land. That should be your comfort zone, and I feel like your partner should be the person who wraps you up in warmth and comfort. And I tried to be that for him, but it just wasn't very accepted. So.
And I will agree with you. I look at it as, I'm going to use some superheroes here. I look at it as Superman flying towards the sun, and he feels re-energized after fighting all the injustices he sees in the world. On the flip side of that, you have Wonder Woman when she goes back to see her Amazonian sisters, how she feels so energized and so happy and so full of love, because the world, as we know, is a very scary place. When we get out there, it's like we're fighting a battle, we're fighting a war. It's like a me against everyone type of mentality. It may not necessarily be that way in reality, but sometimes that's how we feel. But when we come home, we want to come home to peace. We want to
Right.
come home to passion. We want to come home to love. We want to come home to happy eyes. As simple as that may sound for everyone listening, that's where home is. That's why there's a saying, home is where the heart is, because you want to feel safe.
Mhm.
But I know for you, did it seem like it was safer outside of the doors of your home than
It
inside
did.
the doors of your home?
It did. But at the same time, I I really isolated myself from the outside, because I was so broken. I had a difficult time communicating with other people. I had a difficult time, um, making myself actually step outside of home. I enjoyed my job, but I would come straight home, and every day was a new chance for me to try to make him happy, to work harder, to give a little more of myself to this man. And sometimes a little of it would be okay, but like 97% of the time it was rejected, or he would find something to complain about. I worked full time. I obviously have 3 children. At the time, my oldest son, and his wife, and she was pregnant at the time, they were living downstairs. So I had that and my 2 teenagers, and then him and the dogs and work. And I was taking care of a friend of mine who needed palliative care. She was staying with me too. And I remember one day I made 3 meals, 3 different meals for dinner after working all day. And nobody was happy with me. Like, everybody was upset for a different reason. My children were upset because obviously I was affected by his moods. You know what I mean? And then he was upset because he was always upset. And then my friend felt like I wasn't paying enough attention to her needs. And I just felt like I was so stretched and so give out, like I could not give anymore. So yes, outside, if I ever got out, it was a reprieve. To go to the grocery store and have the checkout clerk be nice to me would bring tears to my eyes sometimes.